Okay, welcome back. So, in this, we're going to start out with talking about numeric ranges with logical operators. And this is kind of why in the last video we talked about ands and ors. We wanted to make sure that you understood the ands and ors because you need those to check for logical ranges. Now, determine whether a numeric range is within a specific range of values, use the and. So, let's talk about that. Here we have is x greater than or equal to 10 and x is less than or equal to 20. The first thing we need to look at here is we're using inclusion operators. So 10 and 20 are included in this check. And what we're saying is x greater than 10? And it's less than equal to 20. This and means it needs to be both. This needs to be true and this needs to be true to qualify as true. So any number that is 10 or greater and less than or equal to 20 would qualify. And that's how you check within a range. Now, if we want to determine whether a numeric range is outside of a specific range, so again, here we're using an inclusionary and we're checking within a range. But if we want to check outside a range, we use the or. So let me take a moment to erase this. So x less than 10 or x is greater than 20. So we're saying x is less than 10 or x is greater than 20. So anything in between here would not qualify because it has to be less than 10 or greater than 20. One of these has to be true for this to qualify. If they are both true, then they would qualify. But it can't be. There's no way it would be. There's no way that both of these could be true because you can't have something that's less than 10 and also greater than 20. But you can have where both of these could be false. You could have something that's greater than 10 and less than 20, which is this zone here, and that would make it false. So that's how we use the and or when checking numeric ranges. To recap, let's get the eraser up. If we want to check something that is in between two numbers, we must use and. And if we want to check something that is outside of the range, we want to use or. It just makes sense to, at this point, talk about the fact that we can also assign Boolean values to a variable. We can set something up to either be true or false. And this type is known as a bool, which stands for Boolean. And we can set up any of our variables. So we can say x equals true. Now, I purposely made a mistake here because you want to use a capital T for true. Or you can say x equals false with the capital F. And by the way, when we do this, not always, but quite a bit of time, we're commonly using the variable as a flag. A good example is, let's say I want to check if if an error ever occurred. So I could say at the very top, I can say my code error equals false. And then within my code, so here in my code, I'm doing line, maybe conditions, but at some point an error occurs in my code, I can say now error equals true. So way down here, I can do an if statement that says if the error is true, say a message that says, hey, and this is to the user, hey, an error occurred, just so you know, kind of message. This error is known as a flag, and it's either turned on, which means the conditions exist, or it's turned off because the condition does not exist. So let me erase this because I wrote over that little bit of text. So if the flag is set to false, then the condition does not exist. And my example, I set the error flag to false. And if it made it all the way through the code without being changed to true, then an error does not exist. However, if I set it to true somewhere in my code, then the condition does exist. Now I know that an error did occur because the condition exists. That is all that we have to talk about in this chapter. As a quick reminder, remember all the things that we've talked about in this in the lecture should be used in your homework. It should be used as part of your code. So as you're reading the requirements for the program, make sure to look for these particular cases and look for these keywords. Like if you see the word flag used in the assignment, make sure that you are setting up a variable that's of the Boolean type, also known as bool, and setting it and using it as a flag. Well, thank you for hanging out with me for chapter 3. I will talk to you in the next chapter. And if you have any questions or concerns, make sure you reach out to me, ask me questions, and I will get back to you. If we need to put together some Zoom time, we can do that too. All right, thanks. Have a good one.